all Muslims all over the world. We also we have been on the show today. Oni in the studio this evening. I'm excited because again, people will understand, political conversation. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to the show this evening.
President, happy birthday.
Yes.
People think that just because we disagree with his policies means that God's protection and the wisdom to pilot the affairs of this country.
All right.
To all our listeners. For be tomorrow, but today is the president, commander-chief of armed forces.
Yes, it's 70.
And those that used to confuse us, some people
so we pray that guys will cool, calm, and collected as ever. It's really.
But that's why I just love it.
So
I'm excited to be back in the studio today after I pilot the affairs of Nigeria. Good evening, listeners.
Sorry,
yes.
People don't know that I have a long history for young people to be trained in the art of politics as a way of service. And people also forget that when they go, I don't have anything against him. It's just that
building
exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.
You can disagree.
People who disagree are part of the process of
course,
democracy.
Yes. And I've seen it
and
play.
It keeps saying itself.
I think one of his appointees, I saw
brought things to me and said,
this one.
But Tinubu said it, I think yesterday also. He said,
if you have what it takes to deliver,
the country needs you.
So again, that's leadership. Whether anybody.
Yes.
And I think that should also get us talking about the Islam. Anybody wish anybody dead. The fact that you disagree on
person
dead
or bad thing, it's sickness don't kill. It's death that we suddenly slump and die.
It doesn't automatically comes to death.
But whatever it is, we pray for God to keep him, to protect him.
But what is important there is that we life. You wish that person
the word for good choice. Death will come.
So how do people think death is a punishment for bad?
If Donald Trump have any sin or your weakness, but it's just
that's also should also. It is natural. If somebody you are on the post of authority, that at one way or the other, you will not see some people that will be thinking God than he's even expected.
Well, that's not even in the hands of anybody anyways.
Yes,
that's in the hands of his creator. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a happy birthday. Happy, I think by Sarkozy posted and said that, look, we wish him wisdom to be able to fulfill all the promises.
the president, so that
God should
help us.
Okay,
that one.
For every 3 issues out of the several issues that we had to pick from. The rivers of political intrigues, and the latest press conference to indict or, thin fingers at the now suspended governor Siminalayi. The recent bombing of oil installations in the state. It's why behind a lot of the chaotic situations that we found, he does not know the location of his husband. It's going to be the first conversation for this evening. And Sabotage. What would it be about Paul as governor? So that's going to be our first discussion on the roundtable this evening. The second one is that is needed to eventually said, according to that particular report, is recall a senator. INEC has also issued the senatorial election in itself, because that one is people align issues. Who are these guys? Can this eventually up to June 12? The Senate rejecting fairest election in the history of the country. One issue that brings a lot of conversations around history. I think Senator Lɪධᴇ also added, there are people who seem to just want to rewrite history. Not, immortalize Professor are calling for is the naming of the INEC headquarters after late Professor Nwosu and what have you. So, a lot in a war of words with his immediate past head of service, that's Dr. George Unwe. Story of the incidents that happened in the state added another twist to the complex political crisis. Down the chambers of the Rivers House of Assembly, the arsonists had carried out the act at about 9:45 p.m., causing uneasy calm of the Trans-Niger pipeline in Bodo community, Bodo Boni Road under construction. Unlike in the past, where the immediate past head of service, he's saying that, look, that's Dr. George Unwe, that these things were done of the House of Assembly and the attack on oil installation in the state. A lot of questions have come from the press conference in itself, the location, being TransCore Hotel in Abuja. His wife. I saw a soundbite, a video of his. He said a lot of good things. Oh, this is a man that came into the Rivers State Secretariat, Civil Service Secretariat, and so I'm shocked that the man that had so beautiful many things, he demolished the House of Assembly and also burned. Oh, is this about being what he knows about the crisis in Rivers?
Of course, the man feels that right now they wicked them, and so he's come out. Look, a man of honor, what he was expected to do, even while serving, like he talked about his conscience. He just didn't develop the conscience overnight. He did not leave his conscience in the health section, you know, like the department of, because he said there were certain practices saying him to put out to the public, and that when the next agree with such things, and all
works.
It's not until you wait. I don't think this is not even a new revelation. The only thing that is new here is that him for not condemning the attacks on the that we all need to de-escalate the situation because River State is bigger. To continue, new people will emerge. You know?
Okay, well, Olalekan, how did someone leave River State? You know, and the interview I told you about that he had Fubara, his rating of the Fubara. I saw that one that is now scripted. Everything looked scripted. He had to first also come out to say that if the wife had now come on the trust we should have.
You know, for just like you have said, somebody who is an HOS, head of service, and all of that, does he actually need a script? He's not an illiterate, so he actually does not need a script to say.
Or maybe because
he's like me, you know, telling you.
Okay, he bombed.
Yes, he was there. He said that there was a time it wasn't your name.
And we heard clearly somebody say, "Read from the script."
Yes,
that we gave you
at the beginning.
Politics too. Okay.
Barrister Curtis rightly said that. The truth of the matter is that there are people, some people at the end of the day will tell you that Fubara wasn't wise enough. He would have pampered, for me, House of Assembly, they have a prize. Those 27, as far as politics is concerned, those guys have a prize.
Takes well.
I feel so. You should have, you know, find a way.
Sorry, I told the whole world.
Yes.
That he bought.
And the governor fell out with him.
Yes. The reason why I say I agree with you to some extent, members of the House that left WİKE.
Thank you, sir.
Were also benefit that at his disposal. Given the scenario that the governor has all the resources at his disposal
to be able to compete.
And he was constantly engaged. The then publicity secretary of APC, LS 579. There are those that no matter what you did them.
Yes.
And you know, like my mother will always tell me, put him on your show how we can use power.
People have said that he came too early. If you want to go
when he came
all out, any president passed across to him.
Yes.
That you think
if Fubara wanted to fight, so that in between today he wants.
Yes,
it was difficult.
I agree. So this man has been suspended, but you see all other games.
Yes, it's not done
to ensure that.
Yes. And the political actors.
Yes.
The president.
That HOS.
Yes.
And your associates. Into the office.
That's the administrator and input.
It wasn't WİKE's man. It's simple. This man has been appointed. Oh yeah, let's support.
Being aware of a meeting. Fubara has denied that. Like, look, how have had that kind of opportunity to be in a political setting? Where,
yes.
Do you think that script will work with the president?
Even the activities of WİKE in Rivers State, president, is how WİKE think is very, very smart. You should be able to know that make Tinubu different from the likes of WİKE is because it's just a waste of time. Because one thing there about him is this: he will do that. Tinubu doesn't play in politics like enemy of Tinubu in Lagos State. They are still collecting contracts from Lagos State government till tomorrow. In Rivers State, we are talking about politics now. And the Southeast, that WİKE will be one of the drivers.
Yeah, one of the instruments to
that can drive to, if not because of that. I'm telling you, ordinarily, Tinubu will not declare state of emergency in Rivers State. But because of the politics, and one thing there is this, and that is one. Then another thing again is this. You see the HOS. Look, there are some certain people, man, the types of...
He's a doctor. Let's go on. Okay.
One thing there is this. Now, you now see that majority of our HOS, even when you see permanent secretary...
With this show from the former HOS, you think it's an embarrassment?
It's an embarrassment for head of service.
Make mistake.
For what? No.
Date, timing.
Do you know that? Do you know if you are one with just coming it and making that make believe told them to answer, he said no idea.
But like Curtis said,
There's nothing.
to
we might say people are abusing
for himself, for the president, okay.
100%. Tomorrow they might come together, might be unit. So when people say that the president might fight him, president might also play their PDP should also play their politics right. 괰 is playing politics. Atiku will come tomorrow and say a lot of politicians play politics. Boala said something. He said the work of the opposition is to. Obasanjo said that it is just a way to. He was in opposition in 2013-14. What were they doing?
They say even say worse things.
That's what they were doing. Again, doing infrastructure, doing a lot of things. And when he retires back home, if you look at Wike's interview, in his interviews, we see that he talks like a politician.
At what point should there be a limit to politicking? Already getting into what we can call the dirtiness of our politics in Nigeria.
Also blame the other man, maybe 괰 or 괰 some called Tinubu some unprintable names. 괰 said that boys around the area boy. Is that not dirty politics? So I'm saying that, see, the question you are very good.
I'm going to list 1 or 2, 3 ministers doing a fantastic job politics, and we just have to learn to live with it.
Either you call it, they are playing politics.
Fubara is not coming back. Olalekoni have said that Wike is not done. Threat of the president against Fubara. For the AGF to have said, look, you teleguided this crisis. Do you think that Fubara conciliation, where we could see Fubara, for example, again working at peace, Fubara may not return as governor?
Okay, let me start with this. So then secondly, the reason why the man is talking here now, some of our security agency, and the people are telling the reality of those, the security agency. But that thing happened. Is it the Navy? Is it the police? Is it the SSS? Who come out and say, Oganuruddin is brain behind?
Yeah, but I've actually left all these allegations of the HOS. I'm just talking about
that gap is there. Anybody can say, okay, this is the person who wants to use as a scapegoat. So let us be putting more.
Give a dog.
Decide. Oh, let's do ABC in order for us to point men and say this is what is going to happen. Was an incarceration. A lot of something just happened and it changed the whole equation.
So
let's not go to that.
Because I've already seen divinity in his comment. Yes.
I can tell you.
Remove divine.
It's not even about divine.
No pressure.
Yes. Let me tell you, issue of
Rivers State.
Supreme Court, it can go anywhere.
Okay, by the PDP governors. Okay, all right. Okay.
It can go outside of the judiciary.
Okay, so I'm coming.
No, that's the reason.
No, Mr. Lalekon, we'll get to that. No. Again, I'm going to. You are going to react.
So
the first one is there's a lot of pressure on the president.
There's a lot of pressure. Interpretation. It can go either way.
Which other one?
Then another one again. More to be. So now let's 2 years and the National Assembly happening.
Okay.
I don't see.
So you think at some point Fubara would have to come back?
What it means is that if it will have nothing less than 6 months.
Yes.
You know,
has to help us.
The Constitution.
Yes.
Empire lifetime.
It's based. It could be.
After that 2 years, we are going to see 4 months. Then. So let's say good time of sole administrator. I don't see it happening.
There's going to be a lot of conversation around structures in the state, and people are saying that look, if your mandate was a frank, because what it now means is that look, again, there would always be questions. We had a very rugged, solid conversation. An act of parliament, Emergency Powers Act 2018, which in an emergency situation. But again, still going to put across to him. But I'm just saying it for people who listen to the show. Okay. Yes, it was a conversation in the parliament. Even from the president to the AGF,
would not have quoted that.
And we have seen no. Sector 305 is there. He's talking about, because you know Sector 305 was one of 2018, which he quoted was explicit and legal luminaries. Yes, it was a conversation. You know, so but that again, but first instance 6 months. It means it could be extended, but there are limitations to this extension until the next elections. What happens? Do we need a legal person to explain that to us?
There are very strict conditions. See, Fubara has shot is how it works in politics. Wike is evil. This suspension came. Some of the arguments, somebody said, Obaseki did it. I said, Obaseki did what? And I told people like it was going. After the election, Obaseki left. And I don't know if you remember. And he said that, you see, the Senate must stand up this time. what Obaseki did
then
abolished and did all of that to this state of
and just use that. I think how many assembly members?
That's why something will happen. I wasn't explicit. I didn't say Fubara will come back.
Okay.
But for me, under a very strict.
Could see a Fubara return.
No, Fubara will condition for me. The end of that condition will be that
whoever will put this condition, which
you tell me that I won't come back if I win election. PDP
no. Even the PDP doesn't. Even in the PDP. No, really. Even in the
part of the condition that APC and lose. That one is normal. Any politician.
No, I don't think he can be stopped from contesting. But again,
I never said you won't. I said you won't return. See, these are
fine. That if it's going to be that you are not going to return, you are saying it as if one. You don't even need to do election in Rivers State. If he wins the election and if he doesn't win, that is the second stage. Now saying
as a condition, yes.
As a condition.
There are ways politicians sit down, for example, because if you read them all of these things. Fubara has been governor. It will table that if you contest. We can even say Wike. So
we can't say federal might.
So wait. So at the end of the day, yes,
it was.
We won't say, Wike does not declare state of the power that is ruling this country. We will now say,
things happen.
These things happen.
Lose, but that he will not contest.
And I am telling you that it is very possible that they will give Fubara this condition.
It might not be up to. There are people who are saying it might not be up to 6 months.
Yeah. Before the 6 months, don't you think that something may likely happen? See, for me, if we are serious and we say we want to embrace, in quote, democratic system.
No, we are discussing we play our politics.
Yeah, the way we play our politics forward, we don't need like candidate. We don't need a state like Kano, country that are the boys on boat are the one that are on ground. Africa to see what we can do to take a lion's share of what British is. Because if people find out that coming to make an attempt, police are not disciplined, they say when it happens, just like what some other countries, those that are on ground started shouting, you sponsor a lot of people, allow this man, just like what we say there, Ebola, the president only selects his fight. Between him and Ambody, then your own ambition, we should know that the way you may plan something, I may plan something.
You know the problem in Joseph Financial, you have gone back to where I didn't want you to.
Leave morality.
We should. Because if there was discipline, if there was dead, not to talk morality.
Yes.
All right.
Wike is not that powerful. He's a governor.
I've been governor. Powerful.
Irrespective that we are talking about Nigerian politics.
If you say Wike is square.
Wait. Let me tell you. The thing there is that all what we are saying, for the fact that we are talking, I said it. He has issue with somebody. Yes. In fact, the current governor at the point he has issue with
Nuruddin.
Let me tell you
somebody should have picked up a fight
with would he have been able to do that?
And here is this.
Yes.
That is what people in various states.
Wait, Nuruddin, before you go to the people, again on the issue of time, you know my position has always been on morality when it comes to this issue, but I just want to discuss politics.
Nigerian politicians are not, they are immoral.
That has the ears, the understanding and interest of the president. You also understand that in Nigeria, like President Muhammadu Buhari, that was given to him was clearly political and had shown this idea of priority available to Fubara rather than going.
He doesn't study the environment very well, and it is not. When you are going to go ahead, that is still on the table now, will still be the same results. And if you have to look at the environment, okay, let me do like this, because this kind of House of Assembly member, it goes beyond environment. Lay low for a period, run. In that time, you have to work against the time. It's going to be about things, because at that time, if it is resident, not to have done that.
Yes.
There are some certain things that Wike did, irrespective of the.
You think so?
Yes, because one thing there is that, as I've said, the politics was impeached, illegally impeached. At that particular time.
Before I come back before I go to
another state, the result would not be the same.
When you talk about states not putting his money where his mouth is, I'm sure you remember Ganduje, Kwankwanso, and every other governor, or was it just a situation where he would not have been able to survive what was started towards his impeachment?
That if he doesn't take a step.
If he doesn't take a step, but do you think?
One thing there is this. When you look
and devil now quote and
unquote, if you are not radical, if you are not radical,
no. Unfortunately, that by Socrates had to leave early. the governor was able to do.
That one is the first one.
He took it away from you have a godfather in Abuja who is breathing down the neck. So politically, Rivers is more relevant when it comes to the numbers than Benue State. But you have there's always a code where you have a governor.
But the governor is
I have a reason for Fubara got his politics wrong.
Well, he got the calculation. Possibly
he would have been able to
in that time, just imagine.
Whenever anything happens, there are some things that are noted. Capital was practically less.
Don't you think those were the agreements before it became governor?
No, it could be some agreement, but the issue, let me just say where the governor make mistake.
Yes.
Where the governor actually make mistake.
Yes.
He was indifference on the fight. If you look at then in Anambra State, hold on, Anambra State.
Eventually.
Yes. But at the end of the day, if not because of court, the Mano State, the fight would have gone on. Hold on, he might have get all his before. The fact that I'm ready to give anything.
Should he have
the second AG
with the resources at his disposal?
The second.
How are we sure the agreement even made him have access to those? Look, every one of us, we are just speculating. Nobody has been able to see the real.
We shall know.
It was about resources, and I would have even given any chance to the governor to play the money.
Now starts again today till Jesus comes. Fubara cannot win that fight. But to get through all this fight because we knew that the presidency was supporting all this Malami were behind.
Of course,
the fight was because remove Oshiomhole as national.
The NGF has led by Fayemi.
Yes,
where all Seki was, and that was why Obase could have been. Yes,
Fubara wanted to copy that model,
but he should have understood.
That's why Fubara is. So a lot of people will tell you that see Fubara become governor.
Well,
but I chose you.
I'm just even looking at
that one does not even matter.
The model.
Anybody that is enemy come. If we ones that is Wike is talking about it pedestrian. Another thing.
And now Fubara is the governor.
No, there is no
not all of them.
He said,
that took in this fight, we knew that was advised wrongly. And that's the truth. So we are saying the truth here now. And we know that this timing, nobody who has a good thought towards Fubara or motive towards Fubara, we advise Fubara to fight with him at that stage.
Nobody know the reality circumstances surrounding.
We need to move to the next topic, and I would have to avoid one of the topics we talked about, which is the Natasha 98.3 FM. Barrister Curtis had about to take an early exit from the show because of an emergency. He needed to quickly attempt to exit the show early today. 𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_𝐿_
and a lot of things.
And so what we've tried to do to look at how we play our politics, understand timing, the issue, look at the words of wisdom from my grandfather, Alhaji Rilwan Ladipo Okoya of blessed memory, who had said that, look, the devil is too dangerous to go on the dining table with the devil. Because the devil will always be the late Professor Nwosu, the country. Luckily, all of us were alive when that election was conducted, and we can recall was able to play his part. And so when it came to that, to be given a posthumous recognition and immortalization, because of it was put to a voice vote, and we all know how it all went. The late National Electoral Commission Chairman, Professor Nwosu, with a posthumous recognition appealing to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to immortalize him for conducting the most credible, free, and why there should be any recognition to Professor Nwosu, Senate leader. And they all had their different arguments. Again, if you aggregate moments where he needed to have announced the results of the election, use of quoting out of against that idea, Senator, to discuss whether there was an out to recognize. Let's quickly listen to Senator Adams Oshiomhole on the floor of the Senate, arguing against the call for Professor Nwosu, now late, to be given posthumous recognition as one of
even the freedom to lie. If Professor Nwosu had the courage, after all, he who is not ready to die for something will end up die for nothing. We cannot distort history. Indeed, when it mattered most, his courage failed him. And when you give national honors and recognition, you do of the action he died as INEC chairman. Mr. President, many of my colleagues have stood up here and said that we should look at conducting election, releasing results. The School of Thought said he releases all the results. To guide my thoughts, I have listened and I've read through this 2-page. But when it comes to facts, the written word, it will go into history. I want to be on record. This motion which says, quote, conscious of his courageous defense action that led to the famous June 12 slogan, which ultimately confirmed MKO Abiola. June 12 became through their calculation. But because the chief electoral officer failed to formally add the man who is widely believed to have fourth paragraph, informed that his June 12 be marked as authentic, democratic, correct. President said what Nigerians already knew, that MKO Abiola won. To quote where Professor
Well, Yᴏᴜᴛ West conducted the election, but he should have been courageous enough. And so because he was not courageous, I saw something very, very interesting from a man that should know. He just puts a man that should know he was seen at some point. And what he says, he titles this, and I think it's just very important that we also let our listeners enjoy that school of thought, that's Oshiomhole. Both on the floor of the Senate and on Channels TV 2 days ago, the NEC chairman, Professor Nwosu, stepped in because he refused to exercise courage to declare the junta's contrived court order. He went further ahead to many people didn't know that when Nwosu, that's Professor Nwosu, now don't forget Ali Wakilu, the director ABN, a Nebula Abimbola Davis, the director of operations, who gave an order against Nwosu, then as INEC, approached the court of their pleadings. By that Nwosu's action, he had technically declared the results. You know, they forgot that he went to court. And while challenging that court order, he announced the results. He wasn't courageous enough. But by that, Nwosu's action, he had technically declared this, he's still alive to corroborate this submission. Which other courage does revisionists like Amole was part of the villains of the June 12 struggle? Bafiao was the NLC president, yes, while Adams Oshiomhole was the deputy president of the NLC, and MKO Abiola to make Pascal Bafiao tradings between Abiola and Major General Musa Yar'Adua emerged as Abiola's running mate, to the anger and discomfiture of Pascal Bafiao. Said again, the two key labor unions, and we cannot forget that, yes, too, that actively participated in the June 12 struggle, where Franco Kori led Nupe and Oshiomhole never did anything. Thank God, me that elaborate this. Olisa Agbakoba, Femi Falana, Owe Lakemfa. It was us going back to Easterners and what we've known. Again, apart from what Mr.
And published the same
results and declared that Abiola won that election. He didn't conduct the election. I would even be talking about the election, but he went ahead until he was stalled by the guys who could have done anything to this man. Again, how he was celebrated, how monies were donated to him. Just get their facts right, and it's unfortunate.
Let me see.
He has also said that, look, Friday said that, look,
and I know
he was going to do the right thing.
He has his way of, maybe the senators of the Senate.
No.
You can make a motion. There's a difference between
if you didn't lobby,
always happens in every. There's always another narrative in every Senate. It happens everywhere. So
should we play politics with? Should we play politicians?
So there's a way they do their things. So that's why I said that.
Or maybe they should have lobbied the president.
Listen, he said something that, you see,
because these senators are.
And in fact, anything that happens, let's believe that the media, don't be also surprised that there are other things that this same senator that brought this motion, another senator
deserves to be. But
if the court case especially,
which he fought
until you mentioned, of course, announced.
But
what they have said,
apart from he knew the unions.
That we know.
The NLC of Bafiao was
beautiful views, but you will see opposition.
But
you are not getting
all right. No.
For me, what transpired since 1990. Obasanjo was they were having the entire Southwest states governors, Southeast governors, in respect of. I think the conversation that somebody was thinking.
I think the Southeast senator should have started from home.
Well, all the state house of assembly. Let's honor.
Number one, you don't immortalize somebody that has not died. The man just told me, look, Bamidele spoke, and also Yayi. It shows a majority of nobody can even tell me the story of June 12. Nobody. because I'm involved. The one that Yayi said his younger brother died in court was the one all of them are donating money for when in lunchtime with the way that. For the case of the court, I have the copy. See that our senators don't know history. And it's very, very boring. Posterity wouldn't know.
Oh no! This man was instrumental for when it was
WŽÇOᴜnsAᴘᴜ in Lagos. That he built.
Those ones were called by
Lagos State.
They know about this.
Nuruddin. And then it became a national, still be immortalized.
Yes,
Do we agree? Good evening. Yeah, good evening.
All the you know, politician for him. The political calculation is that after this 6 months, the arrangement has been done. When he came back to office, the opportunity very well. Wike is not a politician. Murviti is everything. Is number one thing of the river state. So, if Fubara is a politician now.
So Fubara didn't play his politics well. You also agree?
He did.
Good evening.
Hello?
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Prof.
Yes, good evening. Yeah, from where? Where?
Talk about Professor Nwosu for people to hear. And secondly, if you go and apologize to the government, you know, and assign and they apologize. They will dig down. Would they dig down? That will finish more for you.
The possibilities of what could have happened or what can happen. All right, 09. Yeah, good evening.
I wish all of you, then in the Southeast, they are just doing eye service. Not in personality, not loving Mr. President, not PhD older. You can be a stark illiterate when who's giving wrong advice. Those beating the drum of war. I think when the war started, the leadership.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
This is Joshua, who does not deserve to be immortalized.
Why do you say so?
From one state which was not concluded.
Yes.
Let me tell you something.
Please, go on, yes. Joshua.
Release.
Wait for age. But were you, you know,
I was very young then.
But
I was young.
Okay, good. You know,
I had no opinion. I understand
to challenge those that were stopped. I wanted to engage you. No, what it means.
No, I'm not going to allow me to talk now.
Oh, yeah. Definitely, yes.
Yes. Me, I will wish him what he wishes me.
Okay, what do you think he wishes you?
Because
what do you subject to your interpretation in a public conversation? We should be
let's go to the real thing. And you should divide what I'm getting into. So we'll do that. Okay. I think with Fubara saw that the sharing formula was skewed against the state government. That's why maybe the figures were not acting with a lot of people at his back.
Oh, of course. That's good evening.
Good evening to you.
First time you're calling in.
Saying that 30%. No, you know, those people, you know, the neck to say no to manipulation. Bring all sorts of things for you to swear to. So it's nothing Fubara. They went to the return said Fubara didn't play his politics in kudos about that.
All right.
Shola on the line.
Okay, Mr. Shola, where are you calling from this evening? I'm from Nwosu, yes.
This word. They're crossing the way. And like you know, it's really. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
The prophet. Okay, said Nwosu died by the time 7 years ago.
No, it was last year. That was just
yes, people that forget about someone, they forget. This man should have stood up against Babangida.
Yes.
How?
We expect Professor
I don't understand. So we should forget about whoever they want to immortalize, let them immortalize.
But they will leave the show. It's not a tribal issue.
No, it's not.
He was accusing that because of
but what he was actually referring to was because at the end of the day, even if Nwosu had announced that result, they were like,
he's a Yoruba man. People like Ohanaeze Femi Falana, people were, that is why
and Yayi, they are playing politics. I will never agree with you that they are bringing that kind of bill. That's the reason why.
Even if they do what,
yes, he missed where we put some certain bill forward, and there's going to be in the numbers. We want to bring.
So let's just pick this call, please. Hello, good evening.
Hello, why that guy saying that they bring somebody to his River State? Look at the woman's story. Sign that letter. They will preach him because
hello, good evening. Oh, sorry, I think that we lost that call.
Yes.
Okay, please go on.
Thank you very much. You see,
the whole responsible was supposed to be Babangida. Order of killing of his brother come from the military, that was Babangida, and who
to read the book completely. I think we picked your point. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes.
Fubara's issue.
Yes.
I believe that Fubara is not with a party from PPP. About it. So, what he did is whatever political move, what he will have moved again to APC. Neutralize Wike complete. And the president is a politician. He's looking for second term. So he will always welcome anybody that will.
Okay.
I believe he should rise up to understand politics.
Okay, I think that would be. I purposely left the moral, because if it's about moral, I followed him there to go and I think Nuruddin too.
The man that demolished the House of Assembly. They are using 19.
No, he was going to survive. No, Bala wanted to survive. You can deal with some of the messages we have here.
Strategy counts and everything. Do you know what? There was a serious resistance because that it become an opera.
Yes. And he withdrew that decision.
Very right.
Sorry, sir. Just give me a second. You mentioned something that we also honor of.
If we do that.
Well, so okay. All right.
Is the one that
you are talking about
morality.
We don't. We need to leave the studio. We need to leave the studio. Thank you. Deeply, very, very sorry that I couldn't take your messages on. We thank you for your loyalty to Political Roundtable. Big thank you to Barrister 괶 𴑒𝐻 𝐒𝐴ᴜ wherever he is this evening. This is where we call it.